everybody. Welcome, welcome. Elaine Williams here with Still Human. We are so excited that you're here. If you're new to us, welcome. If you have heard us before, thanks for coming back. Please share us. Kathy, Keegan, and I started this podcast because we wish we had known so many things we didn't know when we first started out as coaches. And we wanted to tell, we wanted to do a peek behind the curtain of coaching with a comedic twist, because who doesn't want a little more fun in their lives, right? And so that's why we started our podcast, and we have this amazing guest today, Ginger Burr. I'm so excited. So hello, Ginger Burr.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
We're so excited that you're here. And Ginger, tell us, well, first of all, Kathy Keegan is this amazing, fabulous coach with an improv background, which is why we were always laughing so hard. And she is one of the smartest people I've ever known. It's like hanging out with an Encyclopedia Britannica. And if you're under 30, you may not even know what that is. There was something before Google. Google it. I'm just kidding. So anyway, and then Ginger is this amazing image artist, and I can't wait to hear more about it. And of course, as an insecure woman in her middle ages, I'm always thinking, oh my God, is she judging what I'm wearing? I shouldn't have, my headset doesn't match anything. So anyway, welcome, Ginger. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I can tell this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we like to laugh. So I'm always just curious, how did you get into what you're doing?
So I got into it because I had no clue how to dress myself. I spent a lot of time in my teens and my 20s, just looking at other women and thinking, they look so great. How come I feel so awkward and gawky and just, I'm not just sort of flow. I mean, it was the beginning of sort of the hippie era, and I'm just so not hippie anyway. But, I would look at these women in these long flowing skirts and these sort of funky curly hair, and I want that. And somehow it never translated for me ever. So I struggled a lot, and I didn't know what the rules were, if you want to talk about rules. And so a lot of it was hit or miss. And so I was about to turn 30 before I finally found someone who could teach me what I needed to know. And it was such a breakthrough, so empowering, that I hadn't planned to do it as a business, but I thought, well, let me help other women so they don't struggle the way I did.
I love it.
That's beautiful. There was a lot of, for many years in my career, that took up a lot of headspace, was what to wear. And when you spend a lot of time on that, it wears your brain out.
It does.
It really, really does. And it is such a moment when you start to find a look or looks, or you start to understand what looks good on you.
Well, so many of us, I have clients who say, I spend too much mental energy trying to make this work and figure out what to wear. And then even once I do put something on, I expend more mental energy not feeling great in what I'm wearing. You know what? I'm in this business. I am, into fashion. I don't want to try on 14 different things in the morning before I get dressed. I don't want to go out and shop for 6 hours. I want to be able to get in, get dressed, get out, and feel good about what I wear. And I think that's what most women, maybe men too, I don't know, but that's what most women want. And a lot of women don't have that. They struggle.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And as someone, I try to be really open about this because I know it helps people. I'm 53, and I was bulimic from 12 to 24 with periods of anorexia. And before I was 12, I was put on my first diet in the first grade. So, the amount of energy I spent obsessing about my size, what I was going to eat, what was I not going to eat, the suffering, and so it's great to be reminded of that. And just to let other women know there's other ways,
Right.
And I just think it's like, can you have fun with fashion if you're 5'2.5"? Can you have fun? 8% of women are genetically capable of being supermodels, and yet that's still what we're seeing.
I know.
So yeah,
You
I
said,
love
what
it.
was it? 8%?
8%.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And so, Ginger, what do you have certain things you help women who are short and curvy?
Well, I have to say that probably the majority of my clients are curvy. And I have a lot of petite clients, a lot. And you know why? It's because they ignore us. Well, I'm not petite, but, they ignore curvy women. They ignore women over 40, 45, 50, whatever it might be, depending on other factors as well. And they ignore you if you are curvy or plus size or petite or whatever it is. They don't think about that. And particularly all of those things together. Forget it.
Right.
And so a lot of my clients come to me saying, everything is designed for somebody who's 5'10", has a straight body, no tummy, visible tummy. And, I put what I see on the mannequin on, and how come it looks comfortable? And I get it. I mean, I don't have a model's body. I mean, I'll tell you, people sometimes think that I do because I know how to dress myself to cover,
Didn't you go to modeling school?
I did go to modeling school, but the only reason I went to modeling school is, I got into this back in the dark ages. And I was interested. I had a curiosity about fashion, but there was nowhere back then to learn about it. So I went to modeling school. And the thing I learned about that was really very little to do with fashion or makeup or any of that. I learned how women are expected to compare themselves to what is the ideal, and I say that in quotes for those who can't see me doing this, the ideal body shape. Because I remember very clearly, and I have no idea what this woman's name was. I'm hoping that she got over this because I haven't. I was the oldest one in my class at the time. I was 21, and she was 15. And they berated her because she was supposedly overweight. Now I looked at her, I thought, she looks perfectly fine to me. And even if she did have extra pounds on, whatever they think are extra pounds, shut up. Really, I don't say that word very lightly. I know it's funny, but I don't. And I just watched them berate her. I watched her energy level sink. I watched her self-esteem just be undermined. And it broke my heart. It just broke my heart. Never, ever, ever. My goal, whatever I do in my life is to build women up. Because I think we're all beautiful. We all can look amazing. And it's not really about how others perceive us. It's about how we perceive ourselves.
Those are such beautiful. It's like a balm.
I'm like,
hearing you
preach,
speak.
sister, preach.
And for all the women out there, all shapes and sizes, and I represent different shapes and sizes, and I've had them in my life, and I dread going shopping.
Yeah.
It is not pleasant for me at all. I always need to have someone, usually my husband, who is able to, he's got a really beautiful eye. So, but it was difficult because you get a lot of criticism from people too. People feel very, very open about sort of commenting on what you're wearing. And it's sort of like, who gave you the right to tell me what you think about me and how I dress? And it's painful for us, it really is. And Ginger, you've been doing this for decades.
Yeah, 35 years. Yes.
Wow.
And I love it. I love it. And for those who are not watching, you should probably go to YouTube and watch, because she looks fabulous.
She does.
Right? She looks like herself. She exudes who she is. And this is here's the thing. It's not that we're all supposed to dress a certain way or be a certain way. I mean, I kept remembering in my life, I went up and down, and I was in OA for years because of, my addiction to food and this crazy relationship with it. And all I ever got was a larger or smaller version of me. And so the key was to learn to love me the way I am, the way I'm shaped, and to just really revel in that more. And it's not easy because all of the sort of outside messages are very strongly not in that direction, as you were just so beautifully pointing out.
It's so true. And, years ago, and I actually just sort of revisited a little bit with people because I did a whole survey about body shapes. That's a whole other conversation. But I called Hurtful Comments and Unwanted Advice. And I basically reached out to my list and I said, what are things that have been said to you at some point in your life that have impacted how you feel about your body, how you feel about getting dressed, how you feel about how you are visibly out there in the world. Oh my goodness. My goodness. I had women who came back to me had messages given to them when they were 5 years. I mean, Elaine, you mentioned being put on a diet when you were, 10 or something?
Younger. I was in first grade, which is, I think, 6. I was 6.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the messages that you get as a result of that, women and I always hope that we can let these things go eventually, because otherwise they eat away at you. But I've had women say to me, I still think about, when I was 5 years old and my aunt told my mother that, she better do something because I had a belly. And I'm like, oh my God, you were, and it doesn't matter what age you were actually, but 5 years old. And then 50 years later, she's so sensitive about her tummy.
I'd go to my grandmother's and she'd put me on the scale and weigh me.
Oh my God. Oh. Wow.
And and we all, I bet, we all have those memories and they're still there.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, first of all, I love yoga pants forever. Woo! And I feel like my weight has, it's gone up a little bit, and then I'm, been able to get off some of the COVID extra love there. But I do see a trend, like in Instagram, I see lots of like fierce, like what your body can do more than what it looks like. And I love that. And then I have seen a couple of trends on Instagram where people are like, I've been looking all over my house, my car, my office, and I don't see any piece of paper that said, I want your opinion. And I think that's a fun meme, So yeah, I think part of the healing we all get to do is realizing that we're not alone in this, in the patriarchy, the system we sort of were born into, and hopefully some things are changing. And Ginger, on a lighter note, I'm always fascinated. First of all, you've been in business 30 years.
35.
Woo! Like right there, that is like woo. Wow. You have done some tried and true things, and you probably made quite a few experimental lessons. Tell us something. I always love to know, like, what is something embarrassing that happened to you or with a client or something?
Okay. So, when I started out, pantyhose were the popular thing.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Everybody, no matter what you were doing, you never, ever put on shoes without stockings. And younger women right now are like rolling their eyes, I'm sure, going, really? And in fact, the first time I remember years later putting on a pair of shoes without stockings on, it felt weird. It just felt weird. Like, I don't know about that.
I've never done it. I've never done it.
It's a bizarre, it's a very bizarre thing. I do it now, although I don't tend to wear a lot of dresses, but I put on shoes with my pants and stuff without knee highs or whatever, we used to wear. But I remember one of the things was when pantyhose went away, I thought, I have very freckly legs, very, very pale legs. If I am going, guess you get it. If I'm going out to do something professionally and I'm going to wear a dress, which I very rarely do, I'm going to have a very sheer stocking on. Or tights or something covering my legs, because otherwise I feel self-conscious. So, but I don't like pantyhose. Who likes pantyhose? When I wore pantyhose for years, I used to cut the waistband of them always. I couldn't stand anything tight around my stomach, and I couldn't breathe if I had them on. They never fell down. But when pantyhose kind of went out of favor, but, women were still wearing some stockings, I switched to knee highs. And I thought, okay, these are way more comfortable. And they made them so they'll stay up and all that thing. Well, then a few years went by and I didn't really wear any. And one day I thought, I'm going to wear a dress and I'm going to put on my thigh highs. All right, so here's a message. Do not put on 3-year-old thigh highs. Do not. And thank goodness I was only going to the post office to start with before I went somewhere else. And as I got out of the car and I'm walking up the sidewalk, I could feel one of my thigh highs rolling down.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is not good. So I had to walk. I could have gone back to my car, but I had to get these things mailed. So I walked into the post office holding my thigh high up in one hand and handing the package to the woman behind the counter saying, okay, here you go. And then I limped out and I thought, oh my God, thank goodness it was really close to my house because I ran home and changed. But the elasticity wears out. It wears out. So don't do that.
And what happens? You're in the office. I mean, countless stories of getting a run in your hose and then needing to buy emergency pants. I mean, it really is. I forgot all about pantyhose. And all I can think of these days is that if you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, My Favorite Murder, how many women used to get strangled with them? So, the fact of the matter is we don't need them.
Oh my God. What a story. Thank you, Ginger. It makes me think of, I remember being in college and I was in a directing class and being the performer, I was in everybody's scenes. I was like, you need an actress? I'll be your actress, And I was doing this scene where I had to play like a naive woman in a doctor's office who's like being examined. And I had it was like bra and underwear. And I was dancing at a modern dance company, so I was used to being like in my leotards and tights. But something about that bare feeling on my thighs, it was so weird. And I kept saying, can we do it again? Can we do it again? Because I didn't want to feel as awkward as I didn't want to look as awkward as I felt. And I knew if I just kept rehearsing, but I remember feeling the air on my thighs and I was so used to being in a leotard in front of people and tights. But, that's hilarious. And, thank God you weren't at a, speaking in front of
Well, it would have made for a very funny story, I guess. But
I love it.
Fix it.
I love it. Kathy, what about you? Do you have any wardrobe malfunction stories?
Oh, when I started my career, I tried to dress like a guy, like wearing, I wear like bow ties and, it's just so sad when I think about it, and it's always so funny too, because first part of my career, I was in international banking and I was flying down to Argentina because I had clients there.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, because I would meet with them, I had a suite and I would meet with them in my room. I was usually followed by hotel security because they thought I might be turning tricks or something. And here's the thing. If you could have seen me in one of my outfits, it was just like, that just said, repel, go back, go back. There was nothing even remotely good looking about the outfits that I wore. And so it wasn't until much later in my career that I found somebody who made, for me, it ended up being like a black shell with black pants and then jackets. Yeah. And so for me, then it was simple. Which do I choose from? And so it took so much less mental energy, and I needed it because of where I was in my career and the decision, the room I needed in my head to actually live a life.
That was the progression of fashion. I mean, when back in the 80s, women felt they needed, in order to be able to compete with men, felt they had to dress like them. So it was like the navy blue suit, the white shirt, and the little tie of some kind.
And the big shoulder pads, right?
Yeah, shoulder pads. I'm still a fan of shoulder pads, actually. Not the big, giant, wide ones, but for some people, myself included. And then what we went to, as things went along, we went to what you just described. Let's do that column of color, the black and a bright color, because things got very vibrant. So you were right there. You were actually in style back then, following the trend. But now, obviously, in some ways, it's a lot harder because there are so many choices out there. And when business casual came around, I remember doing a workshop around 1990, when business casual was first beginning, and I did this workshop for this group, and one of the women was so angry at me because, her idea of what business casual should be was, you just take the casual clothes you have out of your closet and you put those on. You know, it doesn't matter whether you look like you're going to go clean your garage or you're, you know, she thought, and when I mentioned that, you know, it's a different way of looking at fashion. You may still have to buy some things that that are kind of between the really formal look and the clean your garage clothes. Oh my gosh, she was like beside herself that was true. But it's
that was
more complicated.
That was a death knell for me, the whole business casual thing. It's like, you don't understand the decade I grew up in, you know, or the decades where, you know, my jeans were torn. You know, I wear, when I'm not professionally dressed, I look totally different. And it becomes, you've added a whole new equation to the equation.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I have this image of you with a bow tie, like you're in freaking Argentina. How exciting, how sexy, how exotic. And there's Kathy with a bow tie. Oh, my God.
I was a banker. I was a B-A-N-K-E-R banker. And, you know, and the thing is, there are those fine lines, right? So I always talk about how there's a fine line between mastery and insanity, right? Because the mastery is that you do the same thing over and over again, and it keeps growing and building and getting better. And insanity, we all know where that leads. And so, you know, there is a difference between how I feel about myself and then trying to live up to others' expectations, right? And I think that's where, Ginger, where your special sauce is the here's who you are, this is what you like, here's how you get to where you want to go, so that it's about me not needing to conform to something, but to me, express me the way I want to in the best possible way. And yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's just so wholehearted and whole person what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I work with all of my clients on, whether they're in a class or I'm working with them one-on-one, is who are you? I call it, you know, discovering your inner beauty words. Who are you on the inside that makes you, you? And then let's use that information. And everybody's different. I've done that with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women, and no two women have ever had exactly the same inner beauty words. We are each unique. And then when you dress in a way that expresses that, then you feel self-confident. And when you feel confident, you project that energy and other people pick up on it. And then you don't even think about how others perceive you because you're radiating confidence and people know that. So it's like this win-win. Always I have people focus on who are you and how do you want to express yourself so you feel great. The rest of it falls into place.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It's
so
an
fun.
inside job, isn't it? It's an inside job.
It's so inside. And so, Ginger, how do people find you?
They can find me. My website is totalimageconsultants.com. And as Kathy mentioned, I have a lot of YouTube videos that people can go and watch. I have blogs there on my website. So there's lots of information out there about how to approach fashion from a point of view that helps you feel amazing. And also these days, a lot of women want smaller wardrobes. Like, how can I have capsule or something that I can just get dressed easily and not have to have a million things? You know, it's very doable, but you have to have a plan and a strategy. So I've got all kinds of blog posts and YouTube videos.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay.
You know, there was one on there that was things to say to people when they don't deserve to be able to say it. So I forget what the article, but it was sort of like, here are about 5 potential, they escalate. Here are 5 potential responses to people who are like, you're wearing that? Because you know what, it's good to have that in your pocket because Absolutely. You know it's sometimes it's amazing what people feel like it's their right to say, you know, and it's a free country. I can tell you how I think you look. Okay, well, you know, you can be armed with a good response.
I can't imagine, you know, and I walked around New York City, and you know, I was like auditioning, taking classes, working 40 hours, you know, I was always like a lot of times walking around like thinking about what I had to do or, you know, and I remember so many men would come up to me and go, smile, honey. It's not that bad. And looking back, I can't believe I didn't hit people because, you know, it's like, I am not here for your pleasure. Like I am I'm here in my life. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I had men, one time I was like in between shifts and I was in a store in Times Square, which I should never have been there in the first place. But, I was like walking around eating some nuts. And this guy was like, "Oh, honey, don't eat too many nuts. You're too pretty." And I, it's like, woo! I was just like, it is shocking to me. Shocking. Like, a stranger is going to comment on what I'm eating. Oh, my God.
Yeah, totally inappropriate. And I remember you reminded me that one of the hurtful comments and unwanted advice that a woman shared with me was that her father said to her when she was in her teens, "Smile. You're prettier when you smile." So she didn't hear I'm pretty. She heard I'm unattractive when I don't smile. And it just made her totally neurotic about all that, which just reminded me of what that person, you still remember what that guy or those people said to you. It's just, no, we never have permission I never give unsolicited advice to anybody. I don't care if they're a relative or a friend. They have to ask me. And even then, I'm a big believer is you have to say things with love and grace. And, otherwise be quiet. Be quiet. Nobody asked you,
Right. Well, and your signature on your email is with beauty, love, and grace?
Beauty, style, and grace.
Beauty, style, and grace.
Beauty,
which I just think
grace.
is gorgeous.
Yeah, I love those 3 words.
It just sends a beautiful message.
Well, and as a woman who's, gone up and down with weight and size, and, I've been the woman in the bathroom sending daggers to the really pretty woman, I'm not proud of that, but I've also been the pretty woman in the bathroom where everybody else is sending daggers, and so one of the ways I've tried to make amends in my sobriety and recovery life is if I do sometimes I would see women where I worked at this restaurant and you could tell they were dressed up and feeling awkward. And I used to say, "Oh, you look beautiful," or, "Oh, I love that dress on you," because, it takes courage to wear something that's not, if you've lived in yoga pants for the week or whatever. and it takes something, I think, to put yourself together if you don't have the opportunity to dress up. And so I always tried to give positive, it was authentic, but that was one of my ways of making a living amends to people. It's like, "Oh, you look beautiful." Or like if I'm shopping and I see a woman looking in the mirror, and if I feel moved, I'll be like, "Oh, that looks cute on you." Like I do try to be positive if it feels right, if it feels appropriate,
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Yes, absolutely. I love that too. It's wonderful.
So, Ginger, I have another question. So I teach camera, right? I help mostly women and a few smart men feel comfortable on camera and make short videos and longer videos, and everything keeps changing. But so many people say, "Oh, I hate the way I look," or "I want to lose more weight." So what do you tell people who are like, "Oh, I want to work with you, but I feel like I need to lose weight first"?
Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe how often I hear that.
Every day, right?
Yeah, and again, it makes me sad that, women are putting their lives on hold and feel so unhappy about who they are and how they look. And, my belief always is that we can be beautiful no matter what's going on with our body or how our, bodies are shaped or any of that. And that who wants to spend what happens with women who are feel like they have to lose weight before they can do anything nice for themselves is they feel yucky all of that time while they're waiting to lose weight. And sometimes they don't lose the weight and then they feel even worse.
Right.
My feeling is, let's feel great now. And then you know what? If you lose the weight, fine. And if you don't, you feel great. So I'm always a big believer is let's work with where you are right now, because any of the principles that I teach anyone, they work no matter what your weight, no matter what your height, no matter what your coloring, no matter any of the age, any of those things, they work for you and they can be translated as things as your lifestyle changes, as the fashions change, as your body changes, because that happens too as we get older.
Yeah.
principles still work. So why not learn them now? And then if your body changes, either because you wanted it to or you didn't, it doesn't matter. It's, you can apply them and still feel good about how you look. So yeah, please don't wait. Oh my goodness, that just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful advice. Don't wait.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And, I have to say, like, I am having so much fun with camera stuff because it's, kind of like from the waist up.
Yes.
So yeah, I love that. And I do love like what you're teaching,
yeah.
Because I'm so curvy. I didn't know, like, I used to not show off my waist. Oh. And I realized that it's really good for me to show my waist, and I realized, like, because I used to wear, sort of blousy or bulkier things. And then when I would wear something that was sort of more form-fitting, well, people would always go, oh, my God, you lost weight. And I was like, I haven't. I'm just dressing better or whatever. So it's interesting. Yeah, there's so many things we can learn. So
now I just want to, because we both lived in New York. I lived in New York for about 20 years before I moved here to Chicago. I do wear a lot of black. So do I get like a New York exemption? Because it's not so much because I'm an artiste, but because it's good in terms of keeping your clothes looking clean.
Yorkers.
It's like I always feel like apartments are so small in New York, there should be feng shui exemptions, right? Like special dispensations for people depending on where they live.
Yeah. That's really funny. That's funny. I'm a believer. If you're happy wearing black and you feel great wearing it, I'm a believer you wear what makes you happy and what you feel really great wearing. If you said, I have to wear black because I live in New York and otherwise it's dirty, I'm like, okay, well, let's explore what the other options are. So again, there are guidelines out there to help people make really great choices. I teach that a lot in my 6-week class, very in-depth. But the goal, really, no matter what it is how you feel in what you're wearing. And if there's a color, even if I think, wow, that color, wow, why you're wearing that shade of mustard. Oh, really? First of all, I would never say that to someone. And secondly, if she feels amazing in the mustard, wear it, enjoy it, because you'll just radiate this sense of beauty. And so, that's, if you're wearing black because you love it, go for it. If you're wearing it because you feel like you have to, then we should talk.
Okay. And do you have any classes coming up that we can let our listeners know about? Or is it on a rolling admission?
It varies. My 6-week class, we're halfway through now. So the next one will start, I think, in April. But I started this last year because so many women said to me, oh, yeah, when COVID hit, I thought, oh, and I'll have time to clean out my closet. And then, 10 months later, they still had not cleaned out their closet. So I did a closet cleaning class. So I have this class called Take Your Closet from Chaos to Calm and Have Fun Doing It. And I'm going to be doing that again in March. So it's a 4-week class, and it's super fun and clean out a lot of your closet that way. I'm there to help you. So it's really fun. But that's my next class.
Oh, cool. That's wonderful.
I love that.
Oh, my gosh.
That's so fun.
Women. I need it to be small because I need to be able to give everybody support. So, yeah, it's super fun.
And where are you based, Ginger?
Oh, I'm just a little north of Boston. I'm in Lynn, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I grew up in Scituate.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
And I'm originally from Dorchester.
Ah, there you go. Awesome place, too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Kathy, do your accent. Does it spark joy?
Does it spark joy? I knew a friend of ours had a dog named Bubba Ann, and she had a heart murmur. And so I said, oh, my God, Bubba Ann has a heart murmur. And it's anyway, that's just a little, we put R's where there aren't R's to make up for the missing R's at the end of words for people who have that. I've worked for years to kind of come back from that a little bit, but I just love accents. I could listen to them for days.
It's so cool. And I love that you can do both. So you have things are always good.
Are you Ginger? Are you from Massachusetts?
I am. I'm from out western part around the Springfield area, a little town called Feeding Hills that nobody's ever
Oh, wow. No. I went to school at UMass Amherst, and I never heard of that.
I went to Mount
Feeding
Holyoke,
Hills.
so yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember reading that about your story. Yeah. How fabulous.
Wow. Okay, well, one more time as we wrap up, Ginger, any final tips? If there's one other super tip you want to lay on us?
So, yes, and that is, it's very simple. Write this down. Never settle for good enough. You're out shopping and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I need a tank top. Oh, I wanted bright blue. Oh, this one's sort of a faded blue. Oh, well, it fits. Okay, it's good enough. No. You don't have to go naked. Nobody has to go naked. Go home and wear what's good enough at home and wait until you find that beautiful bright blue tank top that you're looking to get. Never settle for good enough. It'll never make you happy when you get dressed. Always hold out for what's amazing and makes you feel like $1,000,000.
Wow.
Wisdom bombs, lots of them.
Truth. Woo! Awesome. And so one more time, Ginger, tell us the name of your website.
It's Total Image Consultants with an S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Ginger. This has just been so much fun.
Blast. This was very fun. Very
so
fun.
much fun. Yeah, well, we love showcasing amazing, powerful women. And just for our listeners, if you are stuck in a job you just don't know about, or if you are thinking it's time to leave and you don't want to burn bridges, Kathy Keegan is an amazing and extraordinary coach, and that is her specialty.
Yeah, if you hear somebody, a friend of yours say, "Oh my gosh, my job is just killing me," you don't have to know exactly what I do, but what you can say is, "I know someone who knows a lot about that and could be really helpful." And then those of you who are on camera, like almost all of us all of these days, if you want to look fabulous, but also come from within to where your story comes from and really exude that. Did that come out right? I think yes. Then you want to talk to Elaine Williams, right? To captivate the crowd. Elaine, take it away.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I have to say I'm having so much fun. I've been learning a lot about short form videos, which is all the rage right now, and I'm starting a new group program February 1. So I'm not sure when we're dropping this. But if I have enough of a demand, I'll start another one, because I like to have small groups so we all get to go and there's no hiding. But we do a deep dive into short form and how to make one and then repurpose it to all these other platforms. And it's just a great way for people to get to know you and what you're about and how you help. And I like to make it fun, because if you're having fun, you're going to keep doing it, right?
Well, and I got to work with Elaine, and I get to work with her all the time, but I worked with her specifically on this, and she makes you feel like $1,000,000.
Oh, thank you,
She
Kathy.
sees you, she hears you, and she is your biggest fan. So anyway, we are just so delighted. This has been so much fun for us. You know, there are different ways to release. Crying is one, but we choose laughter as much as we can.
Yes.
And so we're so grateful for our listeners and for everybody today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, everybody have a great week. Bye.
And
Bye
we'll talk to you next time. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night. I hate to go and miss this pretty sight. La, 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 la.